It's been tremendous. I can't say enough about it. Carter keeps me accountable. He keeps me focused on working on the business and implementing uh, things that we need to work on to keep growing the business. When we first started with you, I had 4 employees, and now I'm up to 10 employees. And it's all because of the work we're getting. We're getting more and more work, Clay. I was suffocating. I was, like I said, I was doing the business since 2009, and everything was going through me. And at a point, it's a breaking point, and that's where I think businesses just cave in and give up. And I found you on Rumble, and I started listening to you, and I told myself that it's possible. This guy's system is possible, and I can see hope, and I could keep the business going. And I just encourage people, if you're on the fence, get off the fence and try it. What do you have to gain? Everything. There's a proven path. There's a way to get through it, and there's hope, and the vision becomes clear. You're not stuck. I would join and learn from them and implement, be a diligent doer. Just, does it happen in one day? No. Does it happen in one week? No. But if you're just willing to keep trying and peck at it and peck at it, you'll see it turning. You'll see some improvement and you'll get hope and your vision will clear up. It's Jay Poole, and my web address is absoluteheatingcooling.com. We're pretty much a suburb of south of Seattle, and so we service the West Seattle to Lakewood area, and from the water, Puget Sound water, all the way to Maple Valley.
Now, I'm not saying knowledge doesn't matter. Of course it does. But knowledge is just the seed. It's not the harvest. It's not the fruit. To get the results, you have to act. You have to move. You have to do. It's not about more knowledge. It's not about waiting for the right time or hoping for the right mood. It's about closing the gap, the one between knowing and doing. Because that gap is the difference between who you are and who you could become. And every day you leave that gap unaddressed, the life you really want slips further away. This is your opportunity to close that gap, deliberately, consciously, permanently, to stop rehearsing and start building, to stop preparing and start practicing, to stop waiting and start doing. Because once you begin doing, even imperfectly, even inconsistently, you step out of theory and into transformation. And that's where the real progress begins. Knowledge is everywhere. It's in your pocket. It's on your bookshelf. It's in the conversations you've already had. There's no shortage of books, courses, audio tapes, or advice. And yet, despite all this knowledge, very few people actually change. Very few people take what they know and put it into practice long enough to see results. You can go to the bookstore right now and find 100 books on money, on health, on relationships, on time management. The problem isn't lack of information. That hasn't been the problem for a long time. The problem is that knowing has become a substitute for doing. People feel good because they read a chapter, or watched a video, or listened to a talk. And for a moment, they get the emotional reward that normally comes from action, without actually doing anything. It's like reading about push-ups and feeling like you worked out. You didn't. But your brain got just enough stimulation to think you did. You see, knowledge without action is deceptive. It creates the illusion of progress. You feel like you're growing, but you're not.
I've been in the industry over 20 years. I started my business in 2009. We're basically a family-owned heating and cooling company, and we provide quality installation, repair, and service on all heating and cooling systems, gas fireplaces, gas hot water tanks. Prior to joining your system, I was overwhelmed, and that's because I didn't understand the difference between working in my business and working on my business. I pretty much equate it to I'm an HVAC technician having entrepreneurial seizures because I didn't know the difference between working in and working on it. Give up hope. There's a path out of your misery, and that's joining the Thrive Time and reading books and learning and being a doer. Um, Prior to joining Thrive Time, I wasn't a reader, and now I am. And I just started out with telling myself, I love to read, I love to read, I love to read. I didn't start that day reading, but it just kept soaking in. And I picked up a book and I started reading. And that gave me hope and a vision. And that's what people need. We're a family HVAC company. We do residential and light commercial. We specialize in quality installation, quality repair, and quality service.
How much of an impact has it made on your business having your website updated and reinvigorated?
Oh, tremendously. We had a website through another contractor, and we barely got any leads. I probably could count them, and we had it up for over a year or more, and I can count on one hand how many leads we got off it. And now we've been with you going on 10 months, and we get leads. It's amazing.
On today's show, we're interviewing a client who is having success because he's putting in the work. And this just in, nothing works unless we work, right? Nothing works unless you and I put in the effort. And so I'm super honored and excited to interview a diligent doer, a person who says, look, just show me the proven path. I'll put in the work. He's the man with a plan, and he's on today's show. Jay, welcome onto the Thrivetime Show. How are you, sir?
I'm doing awesome. Thanks, Clay.
Now, Jay, for people that want to look you up and verify you're real, can you tell us your first and last name and your web address so people can go look you up?
Yeah, it's J Pool, and my web address is absoluteheatingcooling.com.
And where are you guys based, or maybe what markets do you, what areas of the marketplace do you service?
We're pretty much a suburb of south of Seattle, and so we service the West Seattle to Lakewood area, and from the water, Puget Sound water, all the way to Maple Valley.
And how long have you been in this particular industry?
I've been in the industry over 20 years. I started my business in 2009.
And what are all the services that you guys provide so people can have a little bit of a context?
Uh, we're basically a family-owned heating and cooling company, and we provide quality installation, repair, and service on all heating and cooling systems, gas fireplaces, gas hot water tanks.
Now, I'm going to pull up something on my screen, and you can analyze this, and you might rebuke it and say, Clay, you're out of your mind. But I'm going to pull it up so the listeners can follow my logic or lack thereof. But if we go to usdebtclock.org, which I encourage people not to do, but if you go there, you'll see the U.S. population is sitting at 342 million right now. And there are just 9 million self-employed people. So you have, less than 2.5% of our population is self-employed. And for anybody who doesn't like quick math, let me break it down. If 10% of our population was self-employed, that'd be 34 million. But it's not 34, it's 9 million. So you have 2.5% of our population is self-employed. And then Inc. Magazine, but this is Inc. Magazine. Inc. Magazine is reporting now that 96% of businesses fail. Who's saying this? Inc. Magazine. Why are they saying this? Because it's true. And so what happens is, Jay, I meet entrepreneurs all the time who come to our conference or they listen to our podcast and they say, Clay, I don't think it's possible to grow my company. I don't think it's possible to get unstuck. And I think we get used to being stuck. I think we get used to it. We almost endure it. We almost go, well, I'm just going to be stuck here. Could you share with the listeners, how much have you been able to grow this year since you and I have been able to team up?
Tremendously. Prior to joining your system, I was overwhelmed. And that's because I didn't understand the difference between working in my business and working on my business. I pretty much equate it to I'm an HVAC technician having entrepreneurial seizures because I didn't know the difference between working in and working on it.
We have a wonderful listener I just talked to moments ago, and maybe you could say something to her or maybe people out there. She says, look, I'm so overwhelmed And we haven't had the opportunity to really guide her down a path. I mean, we're just getting to know this person, and she's like, I'm so overwhelmed. I just feel like I'm swamped. I feel like I'm stuck. I almost feel like giving up, but she's got a lot of money invested in the thing. What do you say to somebody who hasn't gone through our system yet? So they're not where you are, and they maybe feel stuck.
Don't give up hope. There's a path out of your misery, and that's joining the Thrive Time and reading books and learning and being a doer. Um, Prior to joining Thrive Time, I wasn't a reader, and now I am. And I just started out with telling myself, I love to read, I love to read, I love to read. I didn't start that day reading, but it just kept soaking in. And I picked up a book and I started reading. And that gave me hope and a vision. And that's what people need.
It's interesting you say that because there was a client of mine. I won't mention his name, but he was telling me, I really don't like to read books, let alone write them. I don't like to read books, and I definitely don't want to write them. And now this particular individual, I'll be vague about what he does and what industry he's in, but now he writes books and he sells thousands of them. And he had to tell himself, okay, if you're telling me you know how to turn an idea into a book, and he said to me, well, why would somebody want to read my book? And I go, because you have a problem that you can solve. And I know that you uniquely can solve the problem. So you could write a book that will teach people how to solve the problem, and people will pay for the solution. So with your company now, you're in the industry where you're doing, you solve problems. What kind of problems do you solve for your company?
Well, on the technical level or on the business level?
On the technical level, like what kind of problems, when a customer calls you, what problems are they
Well,
typically having?
lots of times that they don't have no heat or they don't have no cooling. And so they want us to come out and diagnose the problem and be forthright and not go there with the idea I'm going to find a reason to upsell them on a new system when in reality they just need a part replaced or they just need a general tune up, a precision tune up. And that's what we provide.
So what we do when we work with every client is we basically want to attack 13 areas of business improvement all at one time. And the first area is knowing your goals. And I always sit down with a client. We try to figure out, where are you now versus where do you want to get to? And I don't want you to share on today's show your, specific financial numbers. But as far as knowing your goals, how much did that help you initially, just having somebody working with you on a weekly basis that was aligned to help you achieve those goals?
Tremendously. I learned about tracking my numbers. I learned about accounting. I wasn't doing any of that. And so, uh, talking to Carter, who's my coach, he's helped me to understand those things and to realize those goals and put the numbers down and look at them every day to keep working for that.
This is powerful, folks. And again, someone says, well, this doesn't seem like a super complicated, circular, emotional based interview. This seems very literal. That's what it is. Box number 2, you got to know your break even numbers. You got to know, how much some things do I have to sell to break even? And again, I'm not asking you to share your specific numbers, but how much does it help you to know, hey, we got to sell at least this much to pay my mortgage or my utilities or just to break even?
Well, it gives you peace of mind that you can make your employee wages paid, a peace of mind that you're going to be able to pay your rent, peace of mind that you can buy equipment so you can install it the next week.
And for people out there that don't know your industry, would you also refer to your industry as HVAC? Is that what people call HVAC?
Oh yeah, like I said, we're a family HVAC company. We do residential and light commercial. We specialize in quality installation, quality repair, and quality service.
Now, I talked to a gentleman today who happens to be in California, true story, who does what you do in the California area. And I hear all the time people will say, because I'm in California, you don't understand. It's tough out here in California. It's tough. And one of our great clients, they're in New York. And I remember talking to this client, they're in New York, and they go, you don't understand what it's like to be a New York business owner. It is tough. And what I find is no matter where people live, they always will find that is the excuse that they're going to give themselves if they want to. Or I find people, no matter where in the country they live, they'll make that the kind of the motivator. They'll say, in spite of the fact that I live in this city or this state or wherever, I'm going to have success. Do you feel like that the success you're having is is accelerated because you live just outside of Seattle? I mean, is Seattle booming? Is that what's driving your success?
Yeah, Seattle area and the suburbs are highly densely populated. But you know what's generated our success is the integrity and the honesty that we deal with the customer. People are craving for contractors to be truthful. And when you are and you deal with them on that level, they become your uh, relational customer,
I
a
believe
long-time customer.
I believe in that. I believe in that. Now, box number 4, we have to figure out your unique value proposition. I want everybody to go with me right now. We're going to go to the website, absoluteheatingcooling.com. Everybody put it in your web browser right now. Search for it. Find it, absoluteheatingcooling.com. Everybody go there right now. I'm going there. You're going there. Everybody's going there. Absoluteheatingcooling.com. What we have to do with your business, Jay, and for every business, is we've got to make your website look first class. And it doesn't mean that your website is done. We're not done improving it, but we have to get it done, and then we have to keep perfecting it until it's perfect. So I want to get your thought here. With your website right now, how much of an impact has it made on your business having your website updated and reinvigorated?
Oh, tremendously. We had a website through another contractor, and we barely got any leads. I probably could count them, and we had it up for over a year or more, and I can count on one hand how many leads we got off it. And now we've been with you going on 10 months, and we get leads. It's amazing.
You're getting leads. And again, if you're watching this show and you say, Clay, I feel discouraged. I feel like I'm frustrated. I'm telling you, Jay can do it. You can do it. Next box number 5. You got to improve that branding. Your website, your print pieces, your auto wraps, everything has to be awesome or nothing. Awesome or nothing. Great or nothing. Jay, how much has it helped you knowing that, hey, frankly, I mean, full disclosure, you're paying us $1,700 a month, and that includes everything. So we guide you down the path, but knowing that you have how much, I guess, has that helped you knowing that you have a team that's going to do everything that we're asking you to do from a branding perspective, website, photography, video, search engine, video, online ads, all of that's included in that flat monthly fee?
It's been tremendous. I can't say enough about it. Carter keeps me accountable. He keeps me focused on working on the business and implementing things that we need to work on to keep growing the business. When we first started with you, I had 4 employees, and now I'm up to 10 employees. And it's all because of the work we're getting. We're getting more and more work.
Amen. And that's why we do it. Now, again, money's a magnifier. So if you're watching this show right now and you're a jerk, if you have a lot of money, you'll become a huge jerk. And one thing I have found in my life, I mean this, Jay, I have seen people in my life in a 4-year period of time, 5-year period of time, go from a humble, coachable person to a massive jerk. And it hasn't happened once or twice or 3 times. It's happened a lot because money's a magnifier. And so money just allows you to give more if you're a giver. It allows you to take more steroids if you want to take steroids. It allows you to be cold to people, really cold. If you're a person who wants to be cold, it allows you to be really cold. If you're a person who wants to be nice and giving to the community or the people around you, it allows you to be to do that to a greater extent. As your company has grown, what has it done for you? And again, I'm not fishing for those numbers, but what has it done for you knowing that, wow, we've got a little extra money now. We're able to pay the bills. We're not in panic mode. What's that done for you, just your mindset or you and your family and what you've been able to do?
Well, first of all, it's been able, I've been able to give more to my church. Second of all, I've been able also to bless my employees by buying them some stuff. And one example was you brought up Mike Lindell, and we bought bed sheets for everybody and pillowcases for everybody. And I know that's kind of quirky sounding, but I totally got into it. It was a blessing.
That's the kind of stuff. I'm just telling you, folks, once you grow a successful company, it's going to allow you to give more, to be more. Okay, now box number 6, you have to have a 3-legged marketing stool. Now, we're kind of pacing ourselves. I want to respect your time. But a 3-legged marketing stool is you have to have a proven turnkey system in place that allows you to gain more customers without needing to do the following 5 things, without needing to go viral. Hello. Because if your business model is based upon you going viral, then you have to think about going viral. Two, it doesn't require you to geographically travel the earth. Jay, you don't have to circumnavigate America in order to generate leads. Three, you don't have to be a genius. You don't have to be a genius. What if your marketing plan involved you being a genius and traveling around all the time and going viral? You wouldn't have time freedom or financial freedom. Four, it's profitable. What does it profit you if you have a marketing strategy that makes everyone around you poor and it allows you to gain customers, but you don't actually do it profitably? I mean, what if you have to pay your employees nothing and you don't have any profit left to pay your partners? What's the point of it? And the fifth thing, your marketing system, it needs to be something that allows you to create time freedom and financial freedom. Jay, if you had a marketing system that required you to be up at night till 10 o'clock every night, responding to things and posting things and going viral for things and constantly reaching out to people on social media, you wouldn't have much in the way of time freedom. So I want to get your thoughts. What's it meant for you and your wife and your family to have a turnkey marketing system that generates you leads day in, day out?
It's been tremendous. One part of the marketing leg was working our dream list with property management companies and with HOA associations and churches. Just consistently reaching out to those in places once a week. Now all of a sudden we don't have a low period and a high period because of reaching out to those places. We've been able to fill the low with service work and keeping our employees employed. It's tremendous.
Now, you have this thing called the Dream 100 that you do, and I want you to talk about that. Chet Holmes, the best-selling author of The Ultimate Sales Machine, he's the one that came up with the system. It's the Ultimate Sales Machine, written by Chet Holmes. Incredible book. Chet Holmes, may he rest in peace. But he talks about making a list of your ideal and likely buyers and relentlessly reaching out to them to tell them, hey, we exist and we can solve problems for you. Could you tell us a little bit more about your Dream 100 system and how you do that? Because you do it very well.
Well, I watched your video on your Tower of Power, and then I just implemented the plan. And that was for a 3 or 4 week stretch. We just sent them a one sheet all about us. And then after that, we would show up with a little gift bag and talk about just opportunities that, hey, we're just there to help you. And if there's ever a time you need an HVAC company to work on any kind of your systems like fireplaces or heating and cooling, we'll be there. And we'd love to get your packet so that we're all signed up and ready to go. And all you got to do is call us. It's been tremendous.
Now, again, you are doing it. You're following the systems. That's called the Dream 100 system. That's one part of the system. Box number
Yes.
7, for sake of time, we have to have great sales systems. You got to have sales scripts, recorded calls, one sheets. That's like a marketing brochure. You have to have pre-written emails and a tracking system. We do all that. We're doing all that. Have we done all of it? No. Are we building all of it? Yes. We're getting there. And again, Jay, if you had to describe the growth you've had, you're stuck in an elevator with somebody and they go, come on, how much growth have you really had? If you had to describe it, I mean, you said you went from what? You said a couple tech or 4 techs to
4 to 10. Yeah. In 10 months. It's been 10 months. Yeah.
It's powerful. I'm telling you, folks, you can do it. If you're watching this and you feel discouraged right now, you can do it. And to quote the guy who follows Adam Sandler around in his movies, you can do it. Yes. Rob Schneider. Yes, you can do it. Okay. Box number 8. You have to determine a sustainable customer acquisition cost. So how much does it cost you to gain a new customer? You have to track that. If you don't track it, again, you must measure what you treasure. You will slack where you don't track. What am I saying? You have to measure what you treasure. You will slack where you don't track. It is so important. So again, we track all the numbers. So we know that, Jay, you're getting business from your Dream 100 marketing. You're reaching out to people that don't know you and you're saying, hello, we would love to serve you and provide services for you. And we know it's working because we track. What would happen, Jay, if you didn't track weekly, every single week with Carter and our entire coaching team?
We would we'd be lost, and we would know how much money we're spending on advertising. And prior to that, we were spending probably $150 a week on Google advertising. And now, because we're implementing your processes, we're getting Google reviews and video reviews, and you guys are doing the HCL content on our website. Uh, we're down to like $5 now a day, $28 a week spending on Google ads, which is tremendous. But I
Amen.
want to backtrack one thing, Clay, when we talked about the previous one, is we didn't have hardly any maintenance agreements signed up with our customers. And so we slowly been working on that. And then we have stand-up crew meetings at 7:45. And in that, we do some job role shadowing where we try to help our techs work with objections, overcoming objections with customers. And that's been tremendous. And that has increased our maintenance program big time. Plus, we incentivize our technicians with money to talk to our customers to sign up with the three options of a maintenance agreement.
Again, you're doing a daily huddle. We teach that. We teach that, folks. That's something we teach. I'm telling you, if you have a business and you hate yourself, don't do a daily huddle. So we're moving on to box number 9. You have to create to build an organization. You have to be organized. What? Yes. So to build an organization, you have to be organized. You can't spend your entire meeting looking for passwords and documents. You've got to save things properly, file nomenclature, saving passwords in the right place. I can't tell you how many clients I meet with, wonderful people. They're going, I haven't updated my website in 4 years. I say, why not? They say, I can't find the passwords. So you got to have systems and processes. Box number 10, you got to manage people. This just in. You can't just hire people. It requires teamwork to make the dream work. Jay, you've got those daily huddles going, those daily standing meetings. How much has that impacted you, having those daily standing huddles where you get on the same page with everybody before you start your day?
They're huge. They create a teamwork atmosphere. Everybody knows what needs to happen and what needs to get done, and everybody knows what we need to get done to be profitable, so that we can then pay our employees more money. That's important.
Again, folks, there's so many things that Jay's doing. He's doing it well. I'm just super excited for Jay to be able to encourage everybody out there. Box number 11, you got to have a repeatable, sustainable weekly schedule. There's always one more job, one more opportunity, one more crisis. You got to be able to schedule. And Jay, you've done that. You're doing that. It's always something we're working on. Box number 12, again, I mentioned it earlier. It requires teamwork to make the dream work. You've got to have a system in place for hiring, inspiring, training, and retaining. You have to have a system in place to hire, inspire, train, and retain. Once again, you have to have a system in place to hire, inspire, train, and retain. If you cannot find good people, train good people, yes, even in Seattle, someone says, you can't find good people in Seattle. Oh, yeah, you can. People say, you can't find good people in California. Oh, yes, you can. Could you talk about the hiring process, the hiring systems, and how much that's impacted you, being able to now find good people, hire, inspire, train, and retain good people?
Sure. Before Thrive, I would interview people one at a time, and that was a waste of my time because sometimes I'd interview 4 people and there went 4 hours of my life. And then I learned about the group interview, and so we started scheduling that, and it's been incredible. You can find the A players in those kind of situations, and that's so beneficial to us. And plus, I don't waste 4 hours. I'm only concentrating on 1 hour, and it's been super beneficial. I got to also, when I went down to the Thrivetime conference last month, I got to watch you do the interviews, and you just made it so easy and understanding. And I was putting too much stress on myself, and I followed your advice, and then I read the little sheet of paper you handed out talking about Adam Sandler and his. I even put that into my interview
It
process
just
just to
lightens it up a
de-escalate
little
the
bit.
thing.
It lightens
Yeah,
it up a little
yeah,
bit.
yeah.
I'll say this for anybody out there watching. We had 31 people that were supposed to be at our interview on Wednesday night. 31, which is more than 30, by the way. And you would think, wow, how are you going to interview 31 people at the same time? And I'm counting, and 7 people showed up, but of the 7 that showed up, we only had 2 that I could count that mentally showed up. What am I saying? Only 2 of those 7 even showed up anywhere close to on time. So, and these aren't like early morning interviews. These aren't late night interviews. This is 5:30 p.m. So I'm just
Yep.
telling you, folks, you got to do this process for hiring people. My final question I would ask you for anybody out there, my final 2 questions for anybody out there that is not a client, that is not paying our team $1,700 a month to help them start and grow a successful company. Could you describe what kind of impact has it made on you, your business, your family?
Like I told you earlier in the interview, Clay, I was suffocating. I was, like I said, I was doing the business since 2009, and everything was going through me. And at a point, it's a breaking point. And that's where I think businesses just cave in and give up. And I found you on Rumble and I started listening to you. And I told myself that it's possible. This guy's system is possible. And I can see hope and I could keep the business going. And I just encourage people, if you're on the fence, get off the fence and try it. What do you have to gain? Everything. There's a proven path. There's a way to get through it, and there's hope, and the vision becomes clear.
Final question is, how would you describe the conferences? Because I never know how you guys are going to react, because people like Dr. Zellner show up, or Tim Tebow, or Eric Trump, or we bring in a lot of people. The room is filled with clients who are successful, so we bring up client success stories. And the way it works is we do 30 minutes of teaching, and then I do a 15-minute Q&A, and those questions are based upon the questions that attendees are writing on the whiteboard. So I never know how it's going to go. I know we're going to cover the systems, but how would you describe the conferences?
They're incredible. They're full of energy. And then when you have a break, you can talk to people that are in the business too and learn from them. And also sometimes give it some advice that, hey, I went through that. And so I started doing a calendar and it's helped me keep on task. And I started doing a to-do list and it's helped me to keep on task. And there's hope. There's a way to get out of it and to move on.
I'll give you the final word, final 30 seconds. Anybody watching this right now, maybe someone feels down in the dumps. They feel like they are stuck with their business. What do you say?
No, you're not stuck. I would join and learn from them and implement, be a diligent doer. Just, does it happen in one day? No. Does it happen in one week? No. But if you're just willing to keep trying and peck at it and peck at it, you'll see it turning. You'll see some improvement and you'll get hope and your vision will clear up.
Jay, thank you so much for your time, for your energy. And for anybody out there, if you learned anything on today's show, I want you to share this show with a friend. Surely you shall share. If you're watching this right now and you learned something, share it with a friend. And I would encourage you to check out that website, absoluteheatingcooling.com. Jay's a real guy. He has a real business, a great family. That's absoluteheatingcooling.com. And by the way, folks, a little search engine tip. It does help Jay's website rank higher. Thus, it will benefit him in the short term and the long term if everybody goes to visit that website. So everybody right now, go with me now. Go to absoluteheatingcooling.com. That's absoluteheatingcooling.com. Jay, it's an honor to know you, sir, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Clay. It's an honor to talk to you.
Bye-bye.
I'm Glenn Shaw, owner of Shaw Homes in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Started the company in 1985. At that time, it was one employee doing everything, me. I met Aaron Antis in 2007. The top three things that Aaron did for Shaw Homes was he brought in processes that helped us be able to repeat over and over. He brought in unique hiring skills. He was able to find the right people for the right seat on the bus. And Aaron brought sales techniques that we weren't familiar with up until that time. When Aaron came, we were selling about 80, 85 houses a year. And during the 16-year period, we saw sales get up over 400. And before I met Aaron, the only sales manager we had was myself. And I was completely unable to perform that job. And so Aaron brought major changes and great results with them. In the many years that I was building houses before Aaron, I was great at selling if somebody wanted to buy. But they had to be knocking on my door asking me to sell them a house before I could actually make that sell. I had no sales techniques and no ability to generate sales. Aaron coming in as a natural salesperson just absolutely transformed that and made the sales experience better for the company and better for our buyers. But prior to Aaron, I would work all week for the company. I'd sit in the model home over the weekend, and I had a salesperson or two, but I was actually out there all weekend working that. Since hiring Aaron, I was able to take my weekends off, even reduce my workload during the week. I went from working 60, 70 hours a week to almost a normal workload. So I've been a member of the Builder 20 program in the National Association of Home Builders for 25 years, 20 years. And during that time, I've seen a lot of sales managers with the other companies that have been involved. And in my opinion, Aaron is smarter and sharper than any sales manager of any builder that's ever been in our group. Now, some markets, they don't have to try to sell, they just sell themselves. But with the ability to sell and to train and hire, Aaron was better than any of those sales managers that were in my program. Well, I remember when I considered hiring Aaron many years ago, the thought of spending the extra money was a little scary, but in hindsight, it was one of the best things I've ever done. It freed my time, increased our sales, and at the end of the day, increased our profitability beyond my wildest expectations. Years ago, I was concerned that if I didn't do whatever a customer asked me to do, it might be the last house I sold. And so over time, we were able to move away from unlimited customization to pre-designed options. The problem that we were having in those days is that the customer would tell us what they wanted, but they didn't really know what they wanted. And we would deliver exactly what they told us to do, and they wouldn't be happy with it. So as we became more standardized, we give lots of options, but we don't customize. And in the end, that allows us to sell more homes for better margins than spending countless hours trying to customize in just every avenue of the sales process. We get weekly reports on sales, on profitability, on production, and it provides all the manageable tools that I need to review the company from a 10,000-foot level.
All right, Thrive Nation, on today's show, what we're going to focus on is how to grow a successful company. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up a graphic that is the theory of how to grow a successful company, but vision without execution is hallucination. And so if you go to thrivetimeshow.com/millionaire, you can download a book that I have written called A Millionaire's Guide, How to Become Sustainably Rich. You can download it for free at thrivetimeshow.com/millionaire, but you have to actually implement that which is in the book. And so on today's show, we're joined by a very successful person in the home building business, a great friend of mine, a man by the name of Aaron Antis. Aaron Antis, welcome on to the Thrivetime Show. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great, Clay. Thanks for having me on.
Hey, so I got to ask you this for people out there that want to prove you're not a hologram. First off, what's the website for your company so people can verify that you are, in fact, a real business?
You bet. It's shawhomes.com. SHAWHOMES.com. Shawhomes.com.
I'm pulling it up, shawhomes.com. Pulling it up. That's the website, shawhomes.com.
Yep.
And when you and I met, before we met, you had been already very successful as a home builder. You turned your dream of being a home builder guy into reality.
Yeah.
So how many homes had you sold, or what kind of sales had you done in your career as a home builder guy before you and I even met?
Before we met, probably about 750 million in sales prior to meeting you.
And then you did the year we first started working together. What were the sales totals that year?
We were at like 19 million.
19 million. And then when you ended 2022, obviously we're in 2023, and so we'll see how this year ends. But as far as ending 2022, how much sales did you do last year at the end of 2022?
2022, we were at like 84 million.
Okay, so from 19 million to
84 million.
84 million. So you're doing some things right here. And what we're going to try to do is kind of demystify the plan here. Okay, so here we go. So establishing revenue goals.
Yep.
When you and I first started working together, we started off with a 13-point assessment. We went over your goals.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to ask you to share your goals on the air, but why is it important that you have goals?
Well, I mean, goals are sort of your guideposts that, you set something out there in front of you and you start chasing after it. And without that, you're just kind of floundering in mediocrity. You don't have any reason to get up in the morning and really get after it. And so, I think goals are, it's, you can have lots of different types of goals. And we've talked about a lot of this. We've talked about, having financial goals and having, fitness goals and having friendship goals and just all these different areas. I know you've got the F6, so that's kind of something that, we touched on very early on. You asked me, like, is one of your goals more income or is it more time? And so I said, well, really, at this point, it's more income. And then later it became more time. So, it's changed over the time I've known you since 2016. We're going on 7 years and the income went up considerably. So now it's, turned in the last couple of years towards more time.
Now, the break-even numbers, again, I'm not asking you for the numbers on the show, but you guys have a lot of fixed costs. I mean, if you go to shawhomes.com, you've got framers, you have plumbers, you have tile people, you have so many skilled people, you have a full-time sales team, you have an admin staff. And if you don't sell a house, you still have the service of the land, you still have all the overhead. Why is it important for every listener out there to know their break-even point? How many deals they need per month just to break even?
Well, yeah, because you're going backwards real quick, and it doesn't take very long if you're at the beginning of your business. It doesn't take very long for you to be in a place where, the creditors are knocking at your door and you're, you can't pay your bills, and all of a sudden you're going to lose all for us, all of our trades, all of our suppliers are going to start backing out. So, you've got to know what that number is that lets you tread water so that, okay, this is the worst case scenario. Everything above that, at least I'm into the profit zone. So, you go out of business pretty quick. Most businesses don't last more than just a few months if they get below that break-even number. So
now, folks, again, these might seem like simple steps, but they're all the linear steps you have to take to create time freedom and financial freedom. And if you want to grow your company, this is how you do it. Box number 3, though, is you have to know the hours you're willing to work. Now, your incredible wife is here off camera for accountability. So at any point, she could yell like, "Hey, Matt," or "Boo." But you guys are on the same page with the hours you're willing to work. And you guys, as a couple, I want to brag on both of you. You guys both committed to sacrificing time and energy and a lot of things to get to where you're at in life.
Yeah.
And then as you had your children, you raised them, you decided to devote time to raising said kids. Yeah. And now that your kids are older, you're devoting time to raising these kids. So it's not like you abdicated being a parent while also growing a company. You did both well. I'd love to get your thoughts on sitting down with your spouse, if you're watching this today, or your significant other, and making sure you're on the same page about how many hours per week you're willing to work.
Well, yeah, I mean, you don't want to grow a business to, make a whole bunch of money just so you can split it in half later.
Oh,
because that's kind of what happens when you don't work out those details ahead of time. And so my wife and I have been married 25 years. We've been together for 4 before that. And so yeah, 26. Did I just say 25?
But real quick, I hate to do this to you.
I just got in trouble.
I hate to, your wife just turned 27 on Thursday, and what you said is 100% false. Okay, so the unique value proposition here. Now let's talk about this. Whether it's growing a home building company or a dog training business or a haircut chain or a carpet cleaning franchise or whatever business we're involved in helping to grow, you have to sit down as a listener out there, as a business owner. You got to figure out what makes your company unique.
Absolutely.
So I want to ask you, what makes Shaw Homes unique in the marketplace with other home builders?
Yeah, we have more furnished and decorated model homes than any other builder in the market. So, a lot of times people, when they walk into a home and they're trying to decide if they like the floor plan, the layout, whatever, most builders in our market have an empty house that they walk into. It's just kind of echoes when you walk through it. There's no furniture or anything. And we completely, as you can see in this little video here, we completely furnish and decorate it, make it beautiful. We are the most award-winning builder in the state of Oklahoma. We've won like 5 times as many awards as any other builder in the market. So definitely that is one of our big, takeaways.
And I'm going to throw you under the bus real quick, and I don't mean to do this super passively aggressively. It'll just be more of a subtle passive aggressive. When I met you, you guys had all these awards, but no one knew.
That's true.
It was like this weird, bizarre thing where you had all these awards. I remember talking to you, and I'm like, what makes you guys different? And you're like, we do a good job. And you're being nice about it. You're a good salesperson. But I said, well, tell me about the awards. And you're like, well, we got this award, that award.
This is true.
This award, like 45 minutes later, it's like that award. This award, I need to shave now. This award. That award, I need to go brush my teeth. This award, that award, I want to go mow the lawn now. This award, that award, I'm thinking about retiring. This award, that my kids are turning 18. I can see it. This award, you're just going, and this award, and that award. And so we put those on the website, and that helped. And the other thing you guys we needed to change was all these people were saying great things, but we didn't have video reviews of them saying it on camera.
Right.
So it was like your online reputation didn't match your real world reputation. You had so much good momentum there, and so many people loved you guys. And now you guys have, would you say, 100 video reviews?
Oh gosh, I would say more than that. We've got, we have a lot.
And every week
you could just keep scrolling and scrolling and scrolling.
I was scrolling.
And this is actually all that's on this page. If you go to our YouTube channel, we have way more than this. So yeah.
So again, and this is all the stuff. You're going to grow a successful company, folks. Step 1, you got to figure out your revenue goals. Step 2, you got to figure out your break-even goals. Step 3, sit down for an hour of power. Sit down with your spouse. Make sure that you guys are on the same page of your hours you're willing to work. Step 4, unique value proposition. Figure out what it is that makes you unique. And we have an in-depth guide that you can download for free at thrivetimeshow.com/millionaire if you get stuck. Next box, you got to improve your branding, your website, your one sheet, in your case, model home presentations, business cards, social media branding. Everything that a customer sees needs to be first class. And I was talking to a guy named Ronnie Morales today, and it's Morales Brothers. I think you met him at a conference. He told me this, and I'm not slamming Ronnie. Ronnie, if you're listening, I'm not slamming you. This is the real thing. Ronnie said he'd listened to our show for 7 consecutive years before ever reaching out. And now he's reached out and he's up 57% in about 8 months.
That's awesome.
And we're going to put his story on part 2 of today's show because he's in Texas.
Cool.
And he's 7 years behind you.
Yeah.
But he's doing a great job.
Good for him.
What do you think that thing is where people have bad branding and they are not, is it, we're not aware of it? Is it someone hasn't brought it to our attention? What causes bad branding?
The number one thing I hear business owners say is, well, I don't really need good branding because I sell everything by word of mouth.
Oh yeah, baby.
Like I've got such an incredible reputation
You do.
that everybody just comes to me by word of mouth.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, yeah, but how much business did you do last year? Well, not very much. And, I'm really unprofitable, but I've got great, reputation out there and I get a lot of word of mouth. So when people switch over to starting to improve branding, I know you helped us a lot with that in just creating a lot better looking website, creating we've got an office environment now that is, when people walk into our model home, they are blown away. We truly wow our customers when they come to our model homes.
Yep.
It's a one-of-a-kind experience in the state of Oklahoma. And the process of that, just going through branding it so that it looks really top notch. And, that includes everything from, marketing to all of your senses and everything else. So it just really brought us to another level. And when the customer comes in and experiences us after having walked through other builders' homes, they usually come in and go, you guys are just on a whole nother level.
It's sights, sounds, smells, experiences, everything that your customer sees, they're grading you on. And you might not know that they are even judging you because they're not filling out the form. And I have a funny story to share with you that's kind of sad. I was working with a fitness guy years ago, and I'm not going to tell you what state he's in or what city, folks. I know you want to know, but I'm not going to tell you. And he filled out the form because his wife wanted him to schedule a 13-point assessment. He did not want to.
Yep.
And he tells me, Clay, honestly, I'm just doing the call because my wife wants me on the phone. I don't get leads from social media. I don't get leads from marketing. I get all my leads word of mouth, like you were saying. And I said, well, let me just do this. Let's just, this first month working together, let me get all the passwords for your Facebook, your Google, your YouTube. And as the first month, we just with every single client, we optimize your YouTube, your Facebook, your Instagram, your Twitter, all that.
Yep.
We log on. This is a fitness guy. He was spending like $400 a week every week on ads.
Yeah.
And he wasn't aware that every time a lead came in, it got stuck in Facebook and went to an email address that he wasn't checking.
Whoa.
So think about this.
That's not good.
And it's like 15 to 20 leads a week for years this guy had.
That's not good.
And he didn't even, and so I'm going, you're spending, $20,000 a year on ads that you're not getting anything from. And are you aware that the phone number on your site rings to a phone that's no longer a real phone? And I'm serious. This was real. And then he had before and after photos where somebody had the idea of let's get before and after photos.
Mm-hmm.
You know, where you interview someone before they start working out.
Yeah.
But then they never completed the thought. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
Where
yes.
it's like they interview them about getting in shape.
Yeah.
But then they never actually like aired the part where they're in shape.
Oh no.
So it's just sort of like an interview with people that are not in shape. And I'm like, and again, he's busy guy, busy entrepreneur. That kind of stuff is very common. It's kind of laughable if it's not your company.
Yeah.
But okay, next box. You got to determine your customer acquisition costs. How much does it cost you to get a customer? So Aaron, you guys run ads on Google, on Facebook, on retargeting ads. You have massive signage. There's a lot of stuff you do.
Yep.
Why is it important to know how much it costs you at the end of the day to get an actual new buyer of a Shaw home?
Well, because if you want more of those, you know what it costs to go generate more of those. And it's a cost where it's like, okay, well, I'm down in sales this month or this quarter or whatever, and I need 4 more sales to make it a good quarter here before the end of the quarter. And it's like, I know I can go put money into that and it's going to cost me X number of dollars per customer to get there. And so then it's just a matter of, do I want to spend that money to get to that point? So, for us, it's, a pretty high number because it's a big ticket item, but for some people it might be, very small to get that, each customer. But for us, it's, you got to know what the number is, because ultimately that goes into the price of your product, and whatever you sell, we're doing homes. That is one of our line item costs in our homes.
That's what costs.
Yeah.
Now, if you go to any of the businesses that I'm involved in, you go to eitrlounge.com/staff. I put in the password here. Once I put in the password, I have all of the documents needed to run the company, and they're all saved. So the checklist for the manager, the opening checklist for the assistant manager, the bathroom cleaning checklist, everything needed to grow the company is all in one place. And therefore, the business, everybody who works there knows where to go to find those documents. This is the kind of stuff that fires me up and it makes other people crazy.
Oh, yeah.
So with the conferences we do, if we ever do a conference that's out of town, I have a checklist of stuff I print out. I know it seems kind of crazy for people, but this is real. I print it out and it's like, okay, socks. If I'm gone for 4 days, I want to have 12 pairs of socks. Why? Because it could be hot. I don't know. Could get wet. I don't know. I have a list of, deodorant and socks and shaving, and I have a laptop and a backup laptop, and I have patch cables and XLR cables, and we bring 3. You've seen all this stuff, but it's multiple monitors, backup monitors. It's backups for everything. When you guys build a Shaw home, you're not moving off of guesswork. There's blueprints, there's plans, there's systems, so houses don't fall down. There's somebody out here listening right now that doesn't have systems in place. They don't have checklists.
Oh, yeah.
They don't have it, and so they have to think about everything all the time, because if not, they forget a step.
Yeah.
What would you say is the importance of having taken the time to have built these systems now?
It is the night and day difference between running around like your hair is on fire every day, constantly playing firefighter, or, you hear people say, oh, I'm up to my armpits in alligators. It's because you don't have systems and processes. And every time at Shaw Homes, every time that we have a problem come up, we automatically go, okay, what step in our system did this fall apart in?
Yep.
And what's broken in that step, and how can we fix it so it never happens again? So we go fix the process. We address the problem for the customer, but then we go back after that and we go, how do we fix the process so we don't repeat this problem? And the business owners that are running around with their hair on fire all the time, it's because there's no systems, no processes. Everything is urgent. Everything is hair on fire.
Correct.
And it is a chaos world that you live in. And if you're going to build homes for a living and build a lot of them, you cannot live in that chaos world.
Now, this next box, I get excited about all these boxes. This is what I get excited about. This right here is what I care about. Okay. The next box is management and execution. You have people on your team, and I'm just going to give some examples, and I hope this benefits somebody out there listening. You have people on your team. It's their responsibility every time that you do a new house. They go out there and they design, or they get the blueprint on the website.
Yep.
They get the new design of the home, because people want to see floor plans.
Yep.
So somebody's job is to get those up there.
Yes.
Somebody gets photos of every house that you guys are building.
Yeah.
Somebody gets videos of every house. Somebody puts them all up for sale. Somebody answers the phone every day.
Yes.
Somebody calls the leads every day.
Every day.
Somebody cleans the bathroom every day. Somebody builds the houses every day. Now, this is what I find, and I'm sure none of our listeners can relate to this. Some of our listeners fire people and then Nothing happens. So work with me on this. There's listeners out there that I talk to them every day because we do free 13-point assessments. So I talk to 2 or 3 people a day who go to thrivetimeshow.com. They want to schedule a consultation. And the other day you heard me talking to Jordan. I said, Jordan, go ahead and keep setting those. Because we set an appointment with someone who's definitely not a good fit.
Yep.
And you could tell he had a little, question if that was okay. And I said, I would rather you set an appointment with somebody than not, because I don't know if who's a good fit or not,
Yeah.
But the idea, though, is I sit down. I was talking to a guy the other day, and he was like, the reason why my team did not get Google reviews or reviews this week is because we fired a guy.
Mm-hmm.
And I go, because I'm just asking him, where are we stuck? What's your biggest limiting factor? I have a big process I go through in my evaluation.
Yep.
And I said, who calls the leads? He's like, well, normally I have a person that calls the leads, but we just fired her. And I mean this. I'm going, how long have you been in business? This guy's been in business for over 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And he's reaching out for help. Good person. We're trying to help him. I think it's going to be a good fit.
Mm-hmm.
But so I said, so basically everybody follows the systems until they don't work there anymore. And then no one does the systems. And you go back and forth vacillating from things being done to not being done.
Mm-hmm.
And one of my favorite things about working with you guys is that you're honest people. What does that mean? You do your best to do what you say you're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
And you hold yourself and the employees accountable.
Absolutely.
But what would happen if every week if somebody wasn't performing, you removed them from the position, and then the houses weren't built for the week because something wasn't going well, or because maybe a salesperson wasn't performing at the peak, you let them go, and the next thing you know, what would happen if you managed your company that way?
It would be a disaster. I mean, I can't just fire my superintendent without having somebody already ready to take over all of those responsibilities, because I've got materials showing up at the job site today, tomorrow, and the next day. I've got trades showing up who need some supervision, need to know what they're supposed to be doing. If I fire that guy with no warning, somebody else has to come fill in that position. So, for us, we try to never have that gap happen. And, sometimes it's like, that you're going to need to fire somebody and you can see the writing on the wall.
Right.
But you want to get the next person up and ready to go before that happens.
And you guys have a weekly meeting. So we talk a lot on the show from an employer perspective, but how frustrating would it be to be an A-player employee and you're working for a C-player boss? A boss that doesn't have a staff meeting, that's not organized, that doesn't pay people on time, that's constantly emotional. I see that a lot. And so management is a learned skill.
Yes,
and thankfully, when I first met with you, you'd already really mastered, in my opinion, managing people. But this next box is where I thought we needed some help, was to build a system for constantly recruiting new people, because certain people work for Shaw Homes for 3 years or 4 years, and then they want to go move, they want to have a baby, they want to stay home, they want to get a new job. Yep. And even though you have low turnover at Shaw, certain people get to their expiration date and it's time for them to move on to something else.
Yep.
And because we didn't have a process in place at Shaw at that time to consistently bring in a pipeline of new people, it made it difficult to do the management that was needed. Can you talk about the importance of implementing a human resources program for hiring, inspiring, training, and retaining good people?
It's huge. I mean, that was definitely an Achilles heel for us. And you helped us a lot with that. Putting in where every single week I'm seeing, potential candidates that could come work for us, and they're job shadowing and seeing what it's like to work in our company every single week.
Yep.
It does multiple things. It helps the people who work there to know, hey, there's other people who desire to come work here.
Here we go.
And, if I'm not doing my job, I might get replaced. So there's a little bit of that. And then it's also a thing of, the people who are shadowing get to see the job being done by people who are happy doing their job. And it helps them to want to come be a part of Shaw Homes. I've got a very long list of people right now in every single position that would be excited to come work for us if I did all of a sudden find myself with an opening, because occasionally people leave with no notice or whatever, something happens, family emergency, whatever.
Right.
And you have that, I need to replace somebody immediately. And the great thing about it is I have a whole bunch of people that I could plug into that position very quickly, because every single week I am interviewing.
Now, the next box here is you got to do your accounting, and in order to automate, in order to earn millions, you have to automate your accounting. What does that mean? You have to have a system in place for making sure you price your products and services correctly, and that you pay yourself first. That you set aside a set amount of money to pay yourself and your staff, and all these things work together. And what I find is people ask me often, just not knowing. They come from a place of a good heart. They don't know. They say to me, Clay, what is the most important step in growing Shaw Homes? I've heard Aaron on the show. He's a great guy. Clay, I've heard PMH OKC on the show. Clay, I've seen OxyFresh on the show. What was the most important thing they did? And to me, that's like asking a hiker, what was the most important step you took to get to the top of that mountain? Mm-hmm. Well, it was the one we took there an hour ago. I took a left step. No, it's or it's that gasket of baker. What's the most important ingredient? Is it milk? Is it sugar? Is it eggs? Is it, it's like asking a farmer, what's the most important thing, feeding the animals or watering them? What's the key to your success? There's just certain questions that I understand people want to know, sure, but all of this has to work together, and nothing works unless you do. So I have 3 final questions for you. Mm-hmm. For anybody out there that's thinking about scheduling a consultation, a free consultation with thrivetimeshow.com and myself, obviously they're stuck with me if they fill out the form. I'm the only person that does 13-point assessments. Right. I believe I've seen it since 2005. We help people decrease their costs, increase their time, freedom, and profits. What would you say is the benefit of scheduling that 13-point assessment?
Well, actually, the 13-point assessment was very eye-opening for me. You asked me a lot of tough questions that I probably should have been asking myself and wasn't. And so as we went through the questions, I was like, I think at every question you asked me, I was like, oh, that's a good question. And I was like, hang on, let me think about that for a minute. Yeah. So I find that it kind of helps open your eyes to, these are some things that I know I have some areas of weakness. And then there were, I think, a couple of the questions where I was like, oh, I know the answer to this one. I got this one, no problem. But it helps you sort of identify. I walked away having identified areas of strength and areas of weakness, even though that really wasn't the purpose of the phone call necessarily. It helped me to see that. And then I was like, I think I have a need in a couple of these areas, and I didn't really know what to do for myself. I didn't have the answers.
In part 3 of today's show, part 2, we're going to show the Ronnie Morales story. On part 3, we're going to do a testimony with Myron. And Myron just bought his first Lamborghini today, and he's super fired up. And so Myron's about 6 years down the path. We've been working with you for about 8 years, whereas Ronnie's been with us for less than a year. And it's at a certain point that we have to take action. Knowledge without application is meaningless. What would you say to somebody who's like, it's $1,700 a month, and, I'm spending that much right now on random ads and that much money on random regrettable purchases at the gas station, and, a lot of iTunes I'm downloading. I'm spending $1,700 a month on various things, and I don't know if I can afford it because I've just bought another vehicle that I can't afford, but I'm leasing it. What would you say to anybody who's kind of on that fence?
I would say you need to do it. It has been a game changer for us. I don't know why you would sit there and think $1,700 a month is too much money to spend. Go find the money somewhere. Go empty out your sofa cushions. Go sell the stuff that you have in your house that you're not using. Go get, whatever you need to do to get to that place. You need to find that $1,700. And I will say this, that cost was very quickly replaced with the extra money we were making. And I've actually seen, because I've been around you for a long time, I've seen a lot of your clients come in and right off the bat, they're real nervous about, am I going to be able to, because maybe they're a smaller company or whatever. Right. And they're like, I'm wondering if I'm going to be able to handle this $1,700 a month. And then I see them 6 months later and I'm like, how's it going now? And they're like, man, we're just hitting record after record. I have referred several business owners
and they're doing great,
that are killing it. And that, I'll give one example. I won't name the person, but I did send one of my very good friends to you who was on the verge of losing his business because he just wasn't able. He had bought another one of the shops of what he does. Yep. He opened it and it was not profitable and it was going to take under both of his shops. And I sent him over to you. And I remember about 3 months later, I asked him, how's it going? And he goes, man, we just had a record-breaking month. This was amazing.
And by the way, said person just hit another record-breaking month, just so you know.
Yeah, and I know right now, not only does he have way more income, but he has a lot more time freedom because he's been working with you for many years now. And so it changed his life, just like it changed my life. I would say, if you're thinking about, doing a 13-point assessment, stop thinking, dial the phone, pause this video, make the phone call, reach out to Clay, get it started right now.
Now, final question I have is, I think people look at oxyfresh.com and they go, man, there's 500 locations now.
Yeah.
They look at Elephant in the Room and they go, there's 5 brick and mortar locations now. They look at Shaw Homes and they go, these are big success stories.
Yeah.
I don't know that I can do it. What would you say to somebody out there that just feels like they might not have all this stuff they're going to learn is going to be over their head, too complicated? What would you say?
I would say the information, the ideas are easy. It's the application that is difficult for people. The ideas that you share, there's nothing that's like, oh my God, I don't have a PhD, therefore I can't do it. I feel like it's all very, very simple stuff, but it is a lot of action to get traction. And you got to get the action going. And I think if somebody has diligence and discipline, or can learn diligence or discipline, they're going to do extremely well. And it's not about education. It's about action.
Now, Aaron, I got one thing I want to say, and then we'll kind of wrap up today's show, okay, with a boom, because boom stands for big, overwhelming, optimistic momentum. And that's what's required to have success. People watching this, they're going, well, Aaron, he looks like a normal guy. Well, that's true. They say, well, he sounds like a normal guy. Sounds like an all right guy. That's true. But the one thing you can't quite picture on the show, and I want to just give that gift to you folks who are watching, is Aaron smells tremendous. It's like if you had smell-o-vision, if you could just get up there and just smell that, it's incredible. And it's really, it's his aroma that allows him to achieve massive success. So if you're out there and you're going, what's the secret sauce? It's not a sauce. It's more of just a smell. So I don't know if you qualify to have the kind of success he has unless you smell like he smells. It's a really tremendous smell. Okay, let's end this thing with a boom. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, boom.
Clay, my honor to be on your show. And thank you for all you do. I hear the ripple effects from you are good ripple effects. You know what I mean? People rave about what they learned from you. So congratulations.
Sean, guess what's happening? April 9th and 10th, 2026.
We are probably going to have an amazing business conference here at Tulsa Jerusalem.
Yes, we're joined by Tim Tebow. Tim Tebow is going to be joining us right here at the Thrivetime Show World Headquarters, June 5th and 6th. He's a very successful football player, obviously a Heisman Award winner, but he's also a very successful entrepreneur. Now, when you work with real clients, Sean, clients you really work with to help them grow their companies, do you ever hear a business owner tell you that they didn't have time to get something done?
Every day.
How often is not having enough time a problem for business owners?
All the time. It's like maybe 90% of the issues as people are trying to grow their company.
Well, Tim Tebow is going to come join us here at the in-person Thrivetime Show 2-day interactive business workshop, and he's going to teach us time management and his approach to personal self-discipline and getting things done. Also at the workshop, I'll pull it up on the website so people can see it here. Also at the 2-day interactive workshop, Sean, we are going to be, there it is. We're going to be teaching accounting, systems creation, marketing, human resources, how to hire, inspire, train, and retain great people, accounting, social media advertising, search engine optimization. Sean, what's the area where most clients ask you for help the most? Is it generating leads? Is it hiring people? What's the biggest issue that most business owners have by default before they come to one of our workshops?
Well, I think it's management, because time is the most valuable resource for these business owners, and being able to manage their time is the first thing. Once they get that under control, then generally the numbers, being able to track their business and be able to make the best decisions based on numbers rather than emotions is a big area. And we teach all of this stuff at the business conference, particularly you, Clay. You love to hammer on time management. It's my favorite part of the conference.
Now, I'm going to pull this up real quick here because we're going to go through. If you're not excited, I want to get you excited about what we're going to cover at the workshop here. Okay.
All right.
The 2-day interactive workshop. This is my 20th year hosting workshops. So I'm telling you, folks, we're in rare form here. So one is the idea of establishing your revenue goals. I think most entrepreneurs don't know their revenue goals. Would you agree, or am I off my rocker?
No, that's totally a very important point we do with every one of our new clients that come on board is we have to establish the revenue goals. And generally speaking, we have a vague idea, but not an exact idea that can be engineered down into like the daily goals for sales. And so that's a really big one.
Now, next is the break-even numbers. What kind of sales do you have to do to even break even?
Yeah.
Third is how many hours per week do you want to work? What is your ideal schedule as an entrepreneur? Box number 4, how do you stand out in the clutter of commerce? What makes your company unique from all the different businesses? In a world of brown cows, herds of brown cows, proverbial brown cows, the analogy of brown cows, how can you be the purple cow that stands out? How can you be the squeaky wheel that gets the oil? Box number 5, branding. How do you improve the perception that people have of you, your business, your brand? Box number 6, marketing, your three-legged marketing stool. What is a turnkey way for you and your company to generate leads so you can succeed? Because if you don't have any leads, your business will bleed. If you can't sell, your business will go to hell. You've got to generate leads. Sean, how often do business owners by default tell you they have a hard time generating leads?
It's almost all of the time. It's really a huge struggle. And many times they may be creating leads, but just through word of mouth. So they get to a point where we've implemented systems and then they need to create more leads, but they've never had to do it. So there's a lot of different scenarios where business owners are like, how do you create leads? Something we hammer on at the conference a lot.
Box number 7, create a sales conversion system. Again, box number 7, create a sales conversion system. Sales scripts, recorded calls, one sheets, pre-written emails, lead trackers, all of the sales tools, the sales print pieces, the one sheets, the big screens that you see inside the business. Whether you're a doctor, you're a dentist, you're a lawyer, you got to have sales systems in place. We help you with that. Box number 8. What does it cost you to get another customer? Step number 8, what does it cost you to actually acquire a customer? Step number 9, it's hard to build an organization if you're not organized. We're going to teach you how to create repeatable systems, processes, file organization. Box number 10, we're going to teach you how to manage people, real people on the planet Earth. This just in, we're going to teach you how to manage real people on the planet Earth. Box number 11, how to create a sustainable schedule that works for you and your family. Step number 12, how to create human resources systems for recruiting, hiring, training, and retaining great people. Box number 13, accounting. This just in, we have to cover accounting. It's not how much you make, it's how much you keep. We're going to cover all the accounting things you need to know. And step 14, finally, what is the point of even achieving success? We're going to go over what is the point of even achieving success, how to design a life that you're excited about, how to design a life where you carve out enough time for your faith, your family, your finance, your fitness, your friendship, your fun, and where you're going to spend your focused time. We're going to go through that, all this and more. Now, the workshop, Sean, it's April 9th and 10th. Yep. It's a 2-day interactive workshop.
Yes.
And tickets, we always do it. It's $250 or whatever price that someone can afford. Sean, why do we let people name their price? Why do we have scholarship tickets available if somebody can't afford the $250 general admission ticket?
Well, we don't want anybody to miss out on it. You could be at a startup phase or you could be, way along in your business, but we want to make it accessible for everybody. I think it actually goes back to a story of your dad. And it goes all the way back to how you've always done this as a business coach, trying to make sure that, your average people out there have access to the things that work.
Now, 7 a.m. to 5, Sean, why do we go from 7 to 5 both days? I mean, it's 10 hours a day. 20 hours of training over 2 days. Why do we do 10 hours a day, Sean, of back-to-back workshops? We do a 30-minute teaching session. We do a 15-minute question and answer session, and then we take a break. 30 minutes of teaching, 15 minutes of question and answer, then we take a break. Why do we do that format, Sean?
That format is so that we can keep people engaged and not just sitting there listening, but also getting involved. We really encourage people to ask questions, and that's really where the juiciness of the conference comes out, is you can put your personal situation and your questions on the board, and Clay will tee off and give you direct advice. Even without being in our coaching program, you can get direct coaching from Clay. It's really a very engaging format. I enjoy it a lot.
Once again, folks, this event is April 9th and 10th, 2026. Get those tickets at thrivetimeshow.com. Once again, that's thrivetimeshow.com. Whoa. Who's our keynote speaker coming to the conference there, Sean?
Tim Tebow is our keynote speaker.
Sean, question number 3, how much does it cost to come to our in-person 2-day interactive business workshop right here in Tulsa, Oklahoma?
I think it's, did you say it's $250 or whatever you can afford?
That's right, $250. $8 or whatever you can afford. Sean, how do you spell Eric Trump backwards?
P-M-U-R-T-C-I-R-E. Ooh, that took a long time.
I'll have to listen to this. And you did it right. All right, again, that's Sean Lohman. I'm Clay Clark, inviting you to come join us at the in-person Thrivetime Show 2-day interactive workshop. This event is April 9th and 10th, 2026. Get those tickets at thrivetimeshow.com. Once again, that's thrivetimeshow.com. Right here in Tulsa, Oklahoma, Tim Tebow, baby. It's Tebow time.
Oh, yeah.
Tulsa, Jerusalem.
Doing a lot of different things, but you chose to be here.
Clay Clark is here somewhere. Where's my buddy Clay? Clay's the greatest. I met his goats today. I met his dogs. I met his chickens. I saw his compound. He's like the greatest guy.
I ran from his goats, his chickens, his dogs.
So this guy's like the greatest marketer you've ever seen, right? His entire life, Clay Clark, his entire life is marketing.
Hey guys, Luke Erickson here with the Thrivetime Show. As you can see behind me, we've got all kinds of energy going on. People are starting to show up for the conference, and it is hot in this place. We got grill guns over here. We've got people playing the drums. We've got a fire breather, and man, people are so excited as they come in. The conference is kicked off. This house is packed. We've got Aaron Hansis with Shaw Homes up there. We've got Steve Currington with Total Ending Concepts up there talking about what is possible when you just implement, when you do the proven system. It's so exciting. People are going crazy. Guys, Luke Erickson with the Thrivetime Show here with you. It is day 2 and the energy is high. People are so excited to be showing up. The team is ready. Come on, let's see what it's like to go on in for day 2. Follow me.
My name is Kevin Thomas, and the name of our company is MultiClean. We are a commercial janitorial service, and we serve the entire state of Oklahoma and Kansas, and soon to be Arkansas. We have probably grown probably 5 times. We've added, I think when we first started with you, we had 60 to 65 employees, and now we have a little over 300 employees. Before we got involved with Thrivetime, we didn't really have any systems or processes in place. So I've probably been to, in 6-7 years, I've probably been to 12 to 13 business conferences, and amazingly, each time I go, I learn something new, and I'm so excited to bring it back and show the team.
4,000% from February to February. Now I can better that. Okay, Clay, I don't think you know this. I don't think you know this. I'm pinching myself, and if I cry, forgive me. In the last 2.5 days, we have bettered our entire month of February. In the last 2.5 days.
I heard about it on the podcast. Started listening to the podcast, became a fan, and then figured out about the workshop. I own an insurance and financial services agency, and I was hoping to learn from the workshop systems and processes. I'm big on systems and processes, and always learning better ways to run a business more efficiently. The atmosphere's second to none. It's a high energy, really cool atmosphere to be around. Contagious, I would say. Just something every entrepreneur, I think, would appreciate and love. I'd say humorous, high energy, and full of substance, which I think is the key. A lot of business coaches or seminars maybe are high on motivation and making you feel good, but don't have a lot of substance that you can take back and implement, the following Monday, where his does. Man, there's a lot of valuable things. I'm gonna say, this is my second workshop. The first workshop I took back, really importance of a group interview. I used to spend hours and hours interviewing people, screening resumes, and that saving my time on that part is valuable. It was that and then the sales scripting that have been two major things just so far. Man, I think they're missing out on, expert advice from somebody who's been there, done that, built companies, has learned a lot of lessons. That's what I'm always looking for, is somebody that I can learn from that's ahead of where I am. And I think if you choose not to come, you're missing out on a lot of good advice that can help your business.
Hi, this is Charles and Amber Kolaw. We're the owners of Kolaw Fitness. We heard about Clay Clark through Paul Hood, our CPA. We've worked with Clay Clark for the last 2 years. Clay Clark has helped us take our 3 locations in 3 different states and create checklists, workflows, task lists, time blocks for every employee. He's helped us with creating systems and audits for every department, quantitative scorecards for each department and every position so that everybody has a number. It's been able to give us a lot of time freedom and financial freedom and peace of mind to know that everything's running efficiently, and he's been helpful with a lot of marketing, search engine optimization, helping us really rank high in Google, and pretty much every area of the business. It's been very, very helpful.
We would describe the experience of working with Clay as very energetic. He's full of energy. He's very encouraging, very motivating, but also accountable. So he keeps us accountable, and we love that accountability. It keeps our drive in the right direction, so we're not chasing things that aren't worth spending our time on.
Yeah, he's a great coach. He helps push us on certain areas, helps coach us in certain areas. We're all emotional creatures, and we go up and down, and he actually will tell us kind of where we're at, how we can get from there, and even like emotionally, like when we're stressed about something, he'll have a story to relate to, and it really helps us in every area of our business. It's been very, very helpful.
I think Clay's ability to have a whole team behind him that help him with all of his clients, all his coaching clients, is that it allows Clay to do what he's really good at, and that's working one-on-one with the client and coaching them. And then he can have his amazing staff come in and help you accomplish all these goals that you're setting.
And of course, he has all these resources, whether it's videographers or whether it's web developers, that they can quickly jump on your project, knock things out. He can quickly give you the right coaching. He's just got a whole team of people that whatever area you're lacking in your own company, he's got resources from like video, web design, search engine guys who are just knowledgeable in that. Even though he knows a lot of that stuff, he's got these capable lieutenants that are ready to just take off and help you get that stuff. More stuff gets done on a weekly basis than you would on like probably most than the individual or some other company. We've worked with several companies before, and it's just not as many things get done on a weekly basis, so it's been very helpful. Well, the conferences for me, I'm a slow learner, so I have to learn like over and over again, hear things over and over again. I've been to like, I think 8 different conferences, and each time you come, I learn a few new components. Some things are repetitive, but a lot of the stuff just resettles, and I get a little bit more depth into each component. I've been to 8 of them. They're all super entertaining. He's very funny, very encouraging. You get to kind of self-reflect a lot. A lot of the stuff is really polarizing. You do a personal inventory of yourself, and you'll think like, hey, I've really got to work on this, really got to work on that. So every time you come, I still get a lot of value out of it.
And as much as every conference is the same, it's totally different. So I think we'll hear stories we haven't heard before. He'll have entertainment, or he'll have speakers he didn't have before. And you, like you said, you just always catch a different part of the material that maybe you didn't catch before, or it's worded differently.
And it's really cool because some people that you've seen like a year ago at a conference, now they're being showcased as a success story, and you get to see their website, you get to see how their stats, all their metrics have improved and the revenue improved. So it's really cool to see people that just a year ago, that of course we've been here 2 years, that just came, that I met, is now being successful. It's really encouraging to see other people, accomplish that stuff. So Clay has helped us optimize our website and helped with really topping the right search engines that we need to make sure that we are very, very competitive with all of our other competitors. He's done, basically he outlines exactly what you need to be accomplishing, and he creates tasks that we have to accomplish and his team has to accomplish. And I would say over the last 2 years, we've totally ramped our website. We're topping Google in every one of our markets. We're just doing I would say just doing really, really good. I feel very, very confident in all of our future locations and making sure that we're in front of the ideal and likely buyer. It's very encouraging. It's important to me to know when I'm working with Clay, I've been in business for a while and met with him even when I already had three businesses in 3 different states, and to know that what I share with him is staying private. He's not sending that out to anybody else. To know that when he's working with me, he's only working with no other gyms that are in direct competition with me. It's very encouraging to have somebody you can trust and rely on, that he isn't going to somehow tell your trade secrets or give information away. Just really awesome that he's a trustworthy guy, really cares about you as a client. For us, it's been a complete mind freedom because Clay has helped us create a lot of different documents and one sheets for every department, put quantitative scorecards to each department. And so for us, it's been very encouraging and gives us peace. That when, as an entrepreneur, it's stressful. You go to bed at night, you're worried, did we cover this, did we cover that? So he helps extract everything out of your brain, everything from your business, put it into document creation, put it into checklists and workflows for every person in each department, and make sure that everything's getting done every week, every month, and funnel that all into KPIs or key performance indicators that you can see on a weekly basis to make sure you're moving the needle in the right area of your company. So very encouraging and give you a complete mind freedom and peace to know that stuff's created so you're easy to duplicate and scale your company.
Right, and then we can spend time doing what we're really good at and just trust the system.
I honestly believe everybody needs a coach. I think we're all inherently lazy and selfish and carnal. I truly believe that humans are humans. If we're standing, we'd rather sit. If we're sitting, we'd rather lay down. And if we're laying down, we'd rather be asleep. So to have somebody that challenges you, have real active candor, and be honest with you on every aspect of your company is really, really encouraging to me, because I want to know, I want to work on what we're weak at. I want to see any areas that we're not doing well in, and see his perspective from a third party, because you can look at your own business and just see the good. It's good to have somebody who's done this with hundreds of companies, really look at your company, reflect on your company, and see little chinks in the armor to make sure you cover that up so your competition can't get to you, and that you're successful overall in the big picture. So yes, I would recommend Clay Clark because he is a great friend, a great encourager. To me, he's been a wonderful friend. He's also, you can tell he cares, and he has this wealth of knowledge. He's worked with so many different companies and different businesses. He could take a concept that he's used before in the past with somebody totally different industry and see how it would work perfectly for you in whatever niche market you're in or whatever type of service you're providing. And so his brain is just a wealth of knowledge, and just to have that type of perspective on, as a part of your team and your own company is huge, super valuable. So I would definitely encourage people to use him. But one thing is, you got to be coachable. You got to be wanting to get feedback. You got to be wanting to really grow your company. You got to want to put that extra 10 hours a week to working on your business and not just in your business. And so, yes, I would recommend it to anybody who's wanting to grow their company and provide great systems, checklists, workflows, great encouragement, and have accountability.
Hi, I'm Aaron Antis with Shaw Homes. I first heard about Clay through a mortgage lender here in town who had told me what a great job he had been doing for them, and I actually noticed he was driving a Lamborghini all of a sudden, so I was willing to listen. In my career, I've sold a little over $800 million in real estate. So honestly, I thought I kind of knew everything about marketing and homes. And then I met Clay, and my perception of what I knew and what I could do definitely changed. After doing $800 million in sales over a 15-year career, I really thought I knew what I was doing. I've been managing a large team of salespeople for the last 10 years here with Shaw Homes. And I mean, we've been a company that's been in business for 35 years. We've become one of the largest builders in the Tulsa area, and that was without Clay. So when I came to know Clay, I really thought, man, there's not much more I need to know, but I'm willing to listen. The interesting thing is our internet leads from our website has actually, in a 4-month period of time, has gone from somewhere around 10 to 15 leads in a month to 180 internet leads in a month. Just from the few things that he's shown us how to implement that I honestly probably never would have come up with on my own. So I got a lot of good things to say about the system that Clay put in place with us, and it's just been an incredible experience. I am very glad that we met and had the opportunity to work with Clay. So the interaction with the team and with Clay on a weekly basis is honestly very enlightening. One of the things that I love about Clay's perspective on things is that he doesn't come from my industry. He's not somebody who's in the home building industry. I've listened to all the experts in my field. Our company has paid for me to go to seminars, international builder shows, all kinds of places where I've had the opportunity to learn from the experts in my industry. But the thing that I found working with Clay is that he comes from such a broad spectrum of working with so many different types of businesses that he has a perspective that's difficult for me to gain because I get so entrenched in what I do, I'm not paying attention to what other leading industry experts are doing, and Clay really brings that perspective for me. It is very valuable time every week when I get that hour with him. From my perspective, the reason that any business owner who's thinking about hooking up with Thrive needs to definitely consider it is because the results that we've gotten in a very short period of time are honestly monumental. It has really exceeded my wildest expectation of what he might be able to do. I came in skeptical because I'm very pragmatic, and as I've gone through the process over just a few months, I've realized it's probably one of the best moves we've ever made. I think a lot of people probably feel like they don't need a business or marketing consultant because they maybe are a little bit prideful and like to think they know everything. I know that's how I felt coming in. I mean, we're a big company that's definitely one of the largest in town. And so we kind of felt like we knew what we were doing. And I think for a lot of people, they let their ego get in the way of listening to somebody that might have a better or different perspective than theirs. I would just really encourage you, if you're thinking about working with Clay, I mean, the thing is, it's month to month. Go give it a try and see what happens. I think in the 35-year history of Shaw Homes, this is probably the best thing that's happened to us. And I know if you give them a shot, I think you'll feel the same way. I know for me, the thing I would have missed out on if I didn't work with Clay is I would have missed out on literally an 1,800% increase in our internet leads. Going from 10 a month to 180 a month, that would have been a huge financial decision to just decide not to give it a shot. I would absolutely recommend Clay Clark to anybody who's thinking about working with somebody in marketing. I would skip over anybody else you were thinking about, and I would go straight to Clay and his team. I guarantee you're not going to regret it because we sure haven't.
My name is Danielle Sprick, and I am the founder of D Sprick Realty Group here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. After being a stay-at-home mom for 12 years and my 3 kids started school and they were in school full-time, I was at a crossroads and trying to decide what do I want to do? My degree and my background is in education, but after being a mom and staying home and all of that, I just didn't have a passion for it like I once did. My husband suggested real estate. He's a home builder, so real estate and home building go hand in hand, and we just rolled with it. I love people, I love working with people, I love the building relationships, but one thing that was really difficult for me was the business side of things. The processes and the advertising and marketing. I knew that I did not have what I needed to make that what it should be. So I reached out to Clay at that time. And he and his team have been extremely instrumental in helping us build our brand, help market our business, our agents, the homes that we represent. Everything that we do is a direct line from Clay and his team and all that they've done for us. We launched our brokerage, our real estate brokerage, 8 months ago. And in that time, we've gone from myself and one other agent to just this week, we signed on our 16th agent. We have been blessed with the fact that we right now have just over 10 million in pending transactions. 3 years ago, I never would have even imagined that I would be in this role that I'm in today, building a business, having 16 agents. But I have to give credit where credit's due. And Clay and his team and the business coaching that they've offered us has been huge. It's been instrumental in what we're doing. Don't ever limit your vision. When you dream big, big things happen.
I started a business because I couldn't work for anyone else. I do things my way. I do what I think is in the best interest of the patient. I don't answer to insurance companies. I don't answer to large corporate organizations. I answer to my patient, and that's it. My thought when I opened my clinic was I can do this all myself. I don't need additional outside help in many ways. I went to medical school. I can figure this out. But it was a very, very steep learning curve. Within the first 6 months of opening my clinic, I had a $63,000 embezzlement. I lost multiple employees. Clay helped us weather the storm of some of the things that are just a lot of people experience, especially in the medical world. He was instrumental in helping with the specific written business plan. He's been instrumental in hiring good quality employees, using the processes that he outlines for getting in good talent, which is extremely difficult. He helped me in securing the business loans. He helped me with web development and search engine optimization. We've been able to really keep a steady stream of clients coming in because they found us on the web. With everything that I encountered, everything that I experienced, I quickly learned it is worth every penny to have someone in your team that can walk you through and even avoid some of the pitfalls that are almost invariable in starting your own business. I'm Dr. Chad Edwards, and I own Revolution Health and Wellness Clinic.
Clay, my honor to be on your show, and thank you for all you do. I hear the ripple effects from you are good ripple effects. You know what I mean? People rave about what they learned from you, so congratulations.
And we went from expecting maybe 250,000 this year to we're at 400,000. Hi, I'm Kelsey with K&D's Woodruff Finishing, business owner at 23. So I've been working this K&D's company for about 5 years now, and we started working with Thrive not too long ago. And we went from expecting maybe 250,000 this year to we're at 400,000. That's what we're going to hit or exceed. So we're pretty excited about that. It's been pretty much just listening to what they have to say. Their hiring process has just really been incredible as far as finding good quality help, and the just the accountability of meeting up with them weekly, and like such good insight, the resources that they have for specific business questions. It's all been really incredible. It's been a great experience, so I would recommend it to anybody.
What I've seen from Clay and his group at Thrive is they'll give you a simple system, and it's the simple systems are the ones that people can wrap their brain around. They're the ones that people can work with on a day-to-day basis.
Hi there, my name is Stephanie Pipkin. I am 24 years old and I own Black River Falls Cleaning Services. We opened in April of 2019 and it is now mid-June of 2020. So I wanted to talk today about the success and growth I have achieved by implementing the Proven Path with Clay Clark's team and my business coach Luke from Thrivetime. It has been insane to say the least. I started working with them in mid-February of this year, so we're about 4 months in of working together, and it has completely transformed my business in pretty much every facet. So I'm gonna check my notes here. So in 4 months, my leads have tripled. I was getting probably like 2 leads a week. Now I'm getting more in the like 10 to 15 leads a week. I have doubled my number of employees. I'm now hitting the highest revenue weeks in the history of the company, week to week, it seems like. We went from about 6 appointments today as our highest in February to now 14 to 15 appointments a day. And hiring quality employees has become much simpler and less stressful by using their systems for hiring. I typically only get maybe 2 complaints a month, if that, and everybody shows up to work. I just have really high quality employees now, especially in something people typically consider a high turnover type of work, you know, cleaning houses, cleaning businesses. I have amazing employees now, and I get rid of the ones who are not so amazing and bring on new ones because of, you know, group interviews and interviewing every single week. It's just been great, and such I don't waste as much time on low quality candidates anymore. And your coach will hold you accountable. I mean, which I love. Again, the tough love is really great. You know, Luke's like a stern father figure, but he's also nice, but also stern when he needs to be, when I'm being lazy and not doing the things that I know I need to do because I don't want to do them. So that's just great. Worth every penny. I mean, I'd pay him $1 million a month if I can, and maybe someday I'll be able to, but I would just say go for it. If it seems like a good fit, just go for it. Do what they say, even if you think it's stupid or ridiculous. Just do what they say because it'll work. You know, people, when they look at my business, you know, people in my town, they think I'm lucky. They think I'm just, you know, things just happen for me. And, you know, maybe I am lucky, but it has a lot to do with hard work and, you know, perseverance and, you know, working till you cry sometimes. That's just being an entrepreneur, which if you're a business owner, you understand that. But it's having these systems in place of, you know, of course I'm going to be successful. It's an absolute because I have all this stuff in the background happening, and I have Luke and Clay and everybody on their team working really hard to make sure that I'm a success. And I can tell that they are just so excited every single week when I'm having all these wins and things like that. They're so excited for me. So it's the best thing ever, and I would suggest to anybody to work with them. So sorry for the long-winded reply, but I just had so much to say, and I could go on for hours probably about how amazing they are. But thank you to Clay and Luke and the entire team there, everything you guys have done for me, and I am so excited to continue to work with you for years to come. Thanks so much for watching.
My saying is, if it's important to you, hire a coach. And I think that's one of the reasons people are not successful is they eat a cheeseburger instead of hiring a coach, you know what I mean? And so my coach pushes me. They're younger than me. They push harder. They're trained. And as my rich dad always said, you know, amateurs don't have a coach, but professionals always have coaches. So I've always had coaches for whatever was important. And, you know, my rich dad was one of those persons. I wanted to learn how to play Monopoly in real life. So he was my coach.